Okay, Molten here, back with another rapid game. So today we have to move d4. Let's go for... Let's try something we haven't done. Let's try to get into a Benoni. Let's see if we get into Benoni today. So normally Benoni involves playing the move pawn to c5 at some point. So if we play c4 now, we play c5. Okay, it's not going to let us get into a Benoni. Okay, we're going to Catalan then. So we get into Catalan with the black pieces. Our opponent is playing this position, so we're going to castle. If we play c4, we'll transpose back into a mainline Catalan. No, we get c3, so we're in some sort of, I don't know what this is, a chess position. So normal chess position. Okay, wants to play the move pawn to e4. Okay, let's just capture the pawn. So if he ever plays e4, then at least he gets an isolated pawn. Okay, we just developed the bishop, put the bishop on b7 here. a6 is possible as well, but let's just play solid chess. Okay, we play rook c8. What do we do now? Maybe double rooks, play waiting moves. We can put the queen here perhaps. Bishop d6. I like bishop d6 actually. A lot of positions, it frees up this square for the knight in case I need to maneuver the knight back to e7. Also, it sort of safeguards the e5 square a little bit more. Okay, play rook c7. Not much is happening here. Most of the action, when it happens, is probably going to be on the c file. I sort of want to play a5 at some point, and then when he plays this, maybe play knight back, target that pawn, but it seems a bit slow. There's also the move queen b8, just to free up some squares for the rook. Start some piece trades perhaps on the c file. It's a very symmetrical position, I must say. Not much happening here. Okay, we're playing knight to e7. Let's trade off a pair of rooks. There's no increment here as well, so we'll probably have to play it. Play this endgame quite carefully considering the time we have. Can't spend too much time. But I mean, we just have an equal position here as black. We've comfortably equalized, but winning this position is a different story. Okay, we have this square for our bishop. We also have this tempo of the knight. Let's change the structure a little bit now. Let's go for this f5. If knight c4, immediately we play bishop a6. And that is very good for us. Okay, we take the d5 square for our knights. Always look for some good squares for your pieces, especially if you're playing with knights. Bishop here. I think trading off light squared bishops here is probably beneficial for us. So I don't mind the trade. Also, it solidifies our knight on this square. I sort of want to bring the king to that square now, so... Okay, if he takes our bishop, I'm not too unhappy. Okay, so we put our pawns on opposite colors of our bishop. This is the typical strategy in these positions. All his pawns are on the same color as his bishop. We can play b5 here, but then this knight will also maneuver to new squares instead. How do we break through is the question here. So how do I break through? Okay, I'll put my pawns on all the sort of squares I want them to be on first. Okay, has he overextended his defense of the f2 pawn? I think maybe he has. So can I just drop my knight back here and then swing it across to this square? His bishop is forced into a passive position. Okay, so I don't want my pawn fixed on this square, so I'm just going to play b5. Keep everything on light squares is the strategy here. And eventually we slowly improve our position. Maybe we'll play e5 at some point. Okay, so the knight might maneuver back this way. Possible. Okay, maybe now I play e5. I also have this really slow plan of this and h4, but I think it's too slow. Maybe now's the time to undouble the pawns. I take back with the knight, maybe chuck the knight into the d3 square, then start targeting maybe this pawn and this pawn. Here we have a little bit of pressure. I'm not sure if it is enough to win, but it's definitely very unpleasant to defend this as white, I think. And you get these positions, I think the best you can do is really to put pressure. Try to grab as many weaknesses for your opponent as possible. He can't take back with the king, so he has to take back with the pawn. So I can get my king onto a really good square here. Yeah, king on d5. So bishop b6, bishop takes, pawn is coming. So yeah, he has to go there. Now if I allow him to play knight check, I'm not sure if I can win this position after the knight check. Because then he doesn't have too many weaknesses. I need to create a passed pawn in this position. So I'm going to play f4. So if he ever captures, he does play knight e3 one day. I can maybe play g5 and create a passed h pawn. So you need to keep in mind not just where to put your pawns in these sort of endgames, especially when you have bishops on the board, but also be aware of potential passed pawns which you can create in these positions. He has a passed pawn on d4, but the difference is I don't think this one is able to go anywhere. Okay, that's just a blunder, isn't it? Why can't I just take it? Okay, so now it's lost. But you see it's very uncomfortable to play if you stick all the pawns on the same color as your bishop. You'll be stuck defending that for quite a while. Okay, I'll go for the h pawn, just swing the king across here and then capture that. At the same time, I don't want to give him too much counterplay. Okay, his bishop has no moves. I'm just going to move my bishop here. The king moves, I can always move the king into f3. And bishop f2, and then we just push the pawn. So yeah, definitely, okay, nothing was happening in the opening. So that was just not much happening there. But once you reach sort of the end game, here we played knight e4. So we're looking to create some squares for our pieces. The double pawns don't necessarily mean our position is bad at all. They're perfectly fine. We get this really nice square on d5 for our pieces. And also where pieces are a little bit more active and they have a little bit more space. Yeah, bishop a6 here, so we want to trade off the light square bishop because, I mean, this way we sort of solidify our knight on d5, so it's a lot stronger. And here we sort of stick all our pawns on light squares, which is very important. So yeah, definitely in these bishop endings, try to avoid putting your pawns on the same color as your bishop or too many of them, and try to avoid losing too much space. So don't go too passive in these positions. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this endgame. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next rapid video.